So you probably didn't get an A last semester. Don't worry, I'm here to put you on. And even if you're in high school, you can use these tips and tricks and how I fumbled as references to be able to help you so when you do get to college. In the beginning, I felt so overwhelmed, but hey, I'm here to tell the story of how I got a 4.0 GPA for my first semester of college. And here's how I did it. She doesn't know what she's talking about. Don't worry. You ask and you shall receive. I have receipts of quizzes that I did in my first semester of college and how I did amazing. And how from where I started getting hundreds after hundreds. It's backwards, but that's 102%. How I started off from a 72 and how I went up to a 90, a 98, hundreds, 102, and going on. So first thing that I wanted us to address specifically is when you first start off college, you have to speak to your advisor. Your advisor is basically the person who's going to help you out in terms of registering for classes, any questions that you have. Your advisor, it's in the name. So basically they are the person who help you out, and my advisor helped me out with a lot of things. But I also want to bring into light that at this big age of ours, we cannot depend on somebody to do for us every single little thing. So my advisor, I understood that in terms of I'm not the only student that he has, and he probably has hundreds of other students that he's trying to help out and stuff like that, so he can't get to me all the time. So now this is where I step in and then I do what I need to do. So I noticed that I had 13 credit hours. So in college, the maximum credit hours that you can have is 18, right? So I had 13, but my curriculum guide that says a bioengineering student in their first year, their first semester, are supposed to have 15 or 16 credit hours, if I remember. And the math was not mathing. It was not adding up. Things were not adding up, and I was like, what's going on? I tried to email him. I'm like, where's the other classes? Why is my schedule not going along with what we talked about? Why is it not going along? And then it took time for him to get back to me. Things were happening. I walked. So to get from one side of the school to the other side of the school is 15 minutes. My feet were aching. I walked all the way to the department's office. The head chief of whatever subject that I was looking for, I sat down in front of them, and that's when I didn't know that you had to get appointments. I didn't know that yet at that time. I walked in, sat down, I asked him, he's like, your override has already been processed. Have you talked to your advisor? Who's your advisor? After I went ahead and I told them the issue, how I need to get into this class, that's when okay, people saw that this is a matter of a concern, and this is now we need to look into the issue. And that's when my advisor came back to me and was like, okay, we need to sort out this matter. And my advisor sorted out my classes. I jumped from 13 credit hours to 17 credit hours. So you see what happens when you don't depend on your advisor too much, but at the same time, at our big age, we need to start actually doing things for ourselves. My advice is you have to take a minimum of 15 credit hours every semester. The most that you can take is 18 credit hours, depending on what you can handle. So I really learned from that situation. Your scheduling, the way you schedule your classes. Now you must know every individual is different, and so schedule what you can handle. Don't take classes at 7 a.m. in the morning or 8 a.m. in the morning and you're not gonna make it. You sleep in, you're not gonna please don't do that to yourself. Don't put yourself through all that, and don't miss, especially if it's an important class like calculus or something. Don't do that to yourself. I took a class at 9 a.m. It was one credit class at 9 a.m. every Monday. I missed that class every single week for the entire semester. I missed the class because attendance did not matter. Luckily, my luck for me, I was lucky because the attendance did not matter. I just made sure I submitted my professor's assignments on time before the deadline, and that's how I got an A+ in this class. Even though I wasn't there, I just watched the videos that he put on there, and then I did everything at home. So now, please do not follow me. I got lucky because you don't want God to use you as an example. So please, don't do that to yourself. And it can get very exhausting. My first class started at 11 a.m. Most of the week, my classes would end at 7 p.m., 8 p.m. I said, yes, 7 p.m., 8 p.m. And I had to stay at school for that long. So it was bad. It was bad. So I would get so exhausted, come home, still have assignments to submit, sleep at 2 a.m. in the morning, because I just got home at 8 p.m. or 7 p.m. and then now I have to sleep a little bit, wake up at 11 a.m. So that's so many hours. It was a cycle, and you don't want to do that to yourself. Try to take a little bit back to back, but at the same time, try to have time so you can spend time with friends, time to eat, time to rest. Really make a schedule that works out for you, because my schedule was one of the reasons why I ended up getting burnt out by the end of the semester, because I couldn't. The next thing that I wanted to talk about, at this big age, again, like, there's a lot of things that you cannot expect somebody else to do for you. You have to know certain things without actually having people to tap you. Like for me, how I realized that this is not right, this is not how my schedule is supposed to look like, it's not enough. You have to know what's the issue. So in university, a 4.0 GPA, so now an A plus is a 94% and above. So this is the grading scale right here. That is the grading scale. So you have to know that a 94 and above is an A plus. A 93 to a 90 to a 90 is an A minus, which is a 3.7 GPA. So now if you think now you got 90s for all your classes, and now it's an A plus because it's still an A, and you think you're good and you're waiting to see it from, no. We need to shift from this mindset, because I really thought I was okay, and by the midterms I still had an A minus in one of my classes. And when I calculated my GPA, I had all A's, 1 A minus and 1 B. I had a 3.72 GPA, and to get into the chancellor's list you needed like a 3.75. I was close, but not close enough. So I realized this is not gonna work. I need to work harder, I need to push harder. University is more demanding than high school, and I need to do better. That's why at this big age, now we are growing, the frontal lobe is developing, we're really starting to understand like what we need to do to be at the top. And I want to tell you, so you don't have to make the same mistakes that I did, because I can imagine if I went to the end of the semester, that could have been, please go for office hours. It helps so much, because that's how I got better at math. Because you see me, you see what I did, like be me, because I thought I was slick, be like me. So math, if my professor said like there was a math test next week Friday, next week Monday until Friday, every day I'll be at office hours every single day. I'll start attending like the week before or 2 weeks before if I have time, but it's subject to subject, because you have a lot going on. I would make sure I'm there, and I'm asking the questions, because I realize sometimes when you ask Google for certain things, Google is not going to give you what you need. Your professor will answer the specific questions. And think about it, when it comes to math, ask the person who is going to set the paper, which is your professor. Google will not set the paper. So no matter what you learn from Google, it's not going to help you in terms of your grades. Your professor will show you what they need to show you so that you can work towards that and pass. That's what you need. Ask the person who sets the paper, because once you start thinking like your professor and you start applying yourself towards problems that your professor wants you to, you start seeing the same thing in the exam, and that's obviously how you pass. That's obviously how you pass, because you're doing what you need to do and you're following what your professor wants. Hey, yes. Schedule your work, please. Schedule your, because like it's too much. My math, I had homework, and then the homework was due and I forgot. The next day was when I remembered I had homework. I went back. They take up 20%, you only get 80%. And every single time you miss your homework, it's not even math, my other subject, biology, it adds up. And by the end of the semester, for you to get that A plus, it could have been so much easier, because all those extra points that you lost was going to add up for you at the end of the semester, so you didn't have to take the final exam. Like, depending on your college and what they provide, you could have gotten to that A plus easier because you did the homework in advance. Start scheduling your homework, start scheduling your time, do what you need to do, because it's too much. University is too much, and it's very demanding, very, very demanding. So this was my first time taking like a schedule and writing things down. Like, this was my first, I have not ever done this before, like ever in my schooling career, like write things down, like, set stuff. And I have not ever done that. Like, I'm scheduled and I prioritize my work. I study according to priority. That's how I do, but not to this extent, not to this form of organization. Like, I recommend that you can even ask your college. You can buy calendars, like what, $3 or something, I don't know, in Walmart. You can buy like a calendar, a little notebook, and you sit and you organize your work, so you don't even have to like go to Walmart or something. You can even, like, the college, they give these out. Like, the first day of school, I remember they would leave these at the table. Oh, you want one? Take one, sure. Like, they really give these out to help you for your benefit. Sometimes you just look at these things on the table, you think it's not help. It helps. It really helped me to get on track, and I saw my grades rise. My grades started to go up, and I started to become more organized as a person. And now I feel in my heart, I feel more confident in myself that I can handle more credit hours and I can handle more complex work, because I can organize my stuff now much more better, because I have this by my side. This is your helper. This is your this is your helper right here. So to summarize everything that we've talked about so far in the video, these are points and everything that we've been talking about, so you can take note and you can use for future references, or you can start applying them as soon as today. Yes, if you feel like you have any college experiences that you'd like to share, please drop it down in the comments. And also, if you have anything that you feel like you can touch further in depth in future videos, also please let me know about that in the comments as well. And also, please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.